Super Mario World: The Lost Adventure is a series of hacks by Isaix. Apologies if my pronunciation is off at all. If there's one set of games that probably don't need even more hacks, then it's Mario's 8 and 16-bit adventures. All of them have been hacked to death over the years, so much so that it wouldn't surprise me if Mario Maker was a direct response to it, in the same way that Street Fighter II Turbo was a response to dodgy pirate arcade cabinets with crazy new moves. Nevertheless, the most popular hacks of Super Mario World on the SNES, at least in terms of downloads, are the Lost Adventure series, and, being a series, I've decided to tackle them in one video. The first adventure, released back in 2012, is an interesting first attempt by the author to do a complete level hack. Given the propensity for Mario hackmakers to make things as horrifically difficult as possible, especially nowadays with the Kaizo Mario World hacks, it's nice to see something that at least tries to appeal to more casual players. Having played through the first world of the game, it's clear that the author tried to be quite creative, notably with the Tetris level seen here. It's not a particularly difficult level, mind, but it's a refreshing change regardless. One thing you'll notice is the inclusion of lots of different music. You'll hear plenty of tracks from other SNES games such as Star Fox, Final Fantasy, Super Mario Kart, Yoshi's Island, and even non-SNES games such as Super Mario 64. The results, however, can be a little mixed, especially since the SNES sound hardware requires the musical instruments to be in the ROM, so when they're not there, it doesn't sound the best. There are also some gameplay changes too. The most obvious change for me is Mario's ability to use bullets as weapons, either with Yoshi spitting a shell, or with a new fire flower-like weapon that lets you fire as many as you like, in rapid succession. It's a welcome addition to the game. I confess I haven't played a lot of Super Mario World hacks, mainly because there's just so many of them, but from my limited playing, this certainly seems like a fun effort. There's creativity in spades, and it doesn't appear to punish the average Mario fan. It's a lot of fun, basically. Eight months later, in 2013, Isaix released the follow-up, Episode 2. This is intended to follow on the story directly from the first game, and it certainly starts off with a bang. The music on level 1 is straight from Castlevania, while it takes a day-night transition and subsequent music from Simon's Quest. I don't know how the first episode ended, but clearly Mario finds himself in hell and has to make his way out somehow. It's nice to see a different theme from the first one, but I've yet to see whether it changes much in later levels. Again, we have an additional weapon in the form of the Hammer Brothers projectile of choice, a little more fiddly than launching bullets of course, but still a nice idea. Overall, it continues some of the interesting ideas we saw in the first game, while still providing something new. I will admit that I found the first world a challenge myself, but then I would never claim to be one of the world's top Mario World players. I'm no slouch, that's for sure, but I had a few issues here and there. Finally, 2 years later, in 2015, Isaix came out with the third installment. Again, it's a direct sequel, with Mario leaving the island from the first episode on a boat, as the island itself appears to have frozen over. Quite a contrast from the hell setting of the second game. It's certainly interesting to see the levels from the first game done again, but with slippy slidey ice everywhere. Just make sure you don't go for a swim in the icy waters. Undoubtedly, some players will become frustrated with the lack of friction on the early ice stages, but your persistence will be rewarded with more unusual stages than we've now come to expect from Isaix. First, Mario has to chase Peach's departing vessel before climbing aboard and navigating the deck, complete with Toad-like crew members who, for some reason, have no problem with causing you harm. A charming welcome, I'm sure. Afterwards, it's back to the ice, and what may well be the worst part of the entire hack. It's difficult to convey exactly how frustrating this part really is. several tiny blocks, no room to maneuver, and worst of all, icy conditions. Oh, did I mention that there's a time limit as well? How come Mega Man never had these problems? Anyway, this stage really took it out of me, so I haven't played beyond that, but it would be unfair to judge the hack purely on a few early ice levels alone. Looking at the three hacks together, it's clear that Isaix was trying something different, and I applaud him for that. I personally am not a huge player of level hacks, since there aren't so many games out there that I love so much to want to play new levels by amateurs. Still, I might well give these three a try in the future, and given the total amount of levels between the three, it would certainly give me a good few hours of playtime. If you want to try some Super Mario World hacks but aren't quite cut out for the Kaizos of this world, maybe you could give this a shot.